away from. Effectively segregated so that incompatible goods cannot interact dangerously in the event of an accident but may be transported in the same compartment on hold or on deck, provided with a minimum horizontal separation of 3 meters. Projected vertically is obtained. This type of segregation prevents the dangerous goods to interact with each other, and this type of segregation, whereas we can move the cargoes from one side to another, separated from. This type of segregation is used in different compartments or holds when stowed under deck, provided that intervening deck is resistant to the fire and liquid. A vertical separation that is in different compartments may be accepted as equivalent to this segregation. For on-deck stowage, this segregation means a separation by at least 6 meters horizontally. To perform this segregation, we can use the walls of the other compartments that fits with the standards of doing this segregation. A deck that is resistant to the liquid and fire, and a deck that at least 6 meters horizontally. Certificate of loading. This type of certificate is issued in the USA with the National Cargo Bureau to certify that the cargo of bulk grain has been loaded as per USCG regulation. The document is similar to the Canadian Certificate of Fitness to Proceed to Sea. This certificate of loading is only applicable to the bulk grain cargo.
Hi everyone, this is my report about to segregation, separated longitudinally by an intervening complete compartment or hold form. Vertical separation alone does not meet this requirement between a package under deck and one on deck. A minimum distance of 24 meters, including a complete compartment, must be maintained longitudinally. For on-deck stowage, this segregation means a separation by distance of at least 24 meters longitudinally. Important to longitudinally is to separated longitudinally by an intervening complete cargo compartment or hold form means that vertical separation alone does not meet this requirement. Located in different cargo compartment or holds when stowed under deck. If the intervening deck is resistant to fire and liquid, a vertical separation in different cargo compartment is acceptable as equivalent to this segregation. Thank you.
Good day to everyone. This report is about angle of repose. The angle of repose, or the critical angle of repose of a granular material, is the steepest angle of descent or dip relative to the horizontal plane to which a material can be filled without slumping. At this angle, the material on the slope face is on the verge of sliding. The angle of repose can range from 0 degrees to 90 degrees. What is angle of repose used for? The angle of repose is important for the design of processing, storage, and conveying systems of particulate materials. When the grains are smooth and rounded, the angle of repose is low. For a very fine and sticky materials, the angle of repose is high. What is angle of repose in shipping? Most grains have an angle of repose, slip angle of about 20 degrees from the horizontal, which means that if the ship rolls more than 20 degrees, the cargo will shift because cargoes are liable to shift. Heavy emphasis is placed on the stability of ships that carry them. That's all. Thank you.
This report is about dangers in the carriage of bulk grain. A compartment may be full when the cargo is loaded, but due to shift, vibration, and other movements, the grain settles, leaving space at the top of the cargo. This space allows cargo to move from side to side in conjunction with the rolling and pitching of the vessel. Ang isang compartment po ay maaaring mapuno kapag ang kargamento ay na-load, pero dahil sa vibration at movement, magkakaroon ito ng space sa itaas. Yung space ay pinapayagan para sa kargamento na paggulong-gulong at pagsabay sa galaw ng barko. Most grains have an angle of repose, slip angle of about 20 degrees from the horizontal, which means that if the ship rolls more than 20 degrees, the cargo will shift. Then this happens, the ship will develop a large list lying on her side and still rolling will obviously cause a greater shift of the cargo, which in turn will capsize the vessel. Karamihan sa mga grains ay may mga anggulo tungkol sa 20 degrees mula sa horizontal na nangangahulugan kung ang mga barko ay magro-rolls ng more than 20 degrees, ang mga kargamento ay maglilipat. Pagkatapos, ang mga barko ay bubuo ng isang malaking listahan. Malinaw na magiging sanhi ng isang mas malaking paglilipat ng karga na kung saan ay babagsak sa daluyan.
Hello guys. Ngayon ay tatalakayin natin ang Grain Loading Stability Booklet, Grain Loading Manual. So, sisimulan ko na. Must be provided to enable the master to ensure that ship complies with the code when carrying grain in block on an international voyage. So, ang dito, kailangan ni Kapitan na ensure the ship and comply yung mga code parang kapag when carrying grain on block on an international voyage. So, yung number 2, contain all of the information necessary to check that the proposed loading plans complies with the stability requirements of a regulation at all stages of the voyage. So, dito naman guys sa number 2, dapat alam mo lahat ng information necessary, tapos lagi mong i-check yung mga loading plan complies and stability requirements of the regulation of stage of the voyage. Dapat habang nag-voyage ka, i-check mo yung information, mga loading plan para walang problema. Yung stability requirements of the regulations para goods na goods. So, in number 3, the Black Carrier's Grain Loading Manual contains volumeric heel moments, which are the values based on an assumed surface grain shift of 15 degree for a full compartment and 25 for partially full compartment. So, dito sa number 3 guys, when yung black carriers, kapag naglo-loading sila, ay dapat nakabase sa assume that grades shift to 15 degrees para sa full compartment para iwas aberya, at 25 degrees naman kapag for a partially full compartment. So, ito guys, ito yung sa akin na Grain Loading Stability Booklet, Grain Loading. Thank you.
Good morning. I am here to tackle about the stability requirements. So number 1, the in-stock stability characteristic of any ships carrying bulk grain shall be shown to meet throughout the voyage. There are the 3 characteristics. Number 1, the angle of heel due to the shape of grain shall not be greater than 12. Number 2, the statistical stability diagram, the net or residual area between the heeling arm curve and the righting arm curve up to the angle of the heel maximum difference between the ordinates of the two curves, or 40 degrees, or the angle of landing, whichever is, is the least shall in all condition of loading not be less than 0.075 meter radians. Number 3. The initial metacentric height after correction for the free surface effect of liquid in tank shall be not less than 0.30. Stability. Stability requirements for explicit schemes impose severe restrictions on the time step size. Analyzing complex viscous flow field which are naturally. The curves of statistical stability, also known as the GZ curves, graphical representation of the ship's transverse statistical stability, ability of the ships to return to upright positions when she is in incline by external force like wind or wave. If a measurement of the initial statistic stability of floating body, the initials or GM or metacentric height should not be less than 0.15 meters. GC should be at least 0.2 meters and angle of hills is 30. Maximum height level should occur of hills greater than 30, probably but not less than 25. So the next one is number 2. Before loading, bagger and the master shall, if so required by the constructing government of the country of the port loading, demonstrate the ability of the ship at all stages of any voyage to comply with the ability of criteria. in this characteristic, backloading grains and the master shall responsible for voyage, and if the country required by constructing government of the country of the port of loading demonstrate the stability of the ship at all stage of any voyage, you need to comply with the stability criteria required, because there are ports that have their own criteria required. Number 3. After loading, the master shall ensure that the ship is upright before proceeding to sea. This is the very important, because before you go to sea, you need to make sure that your ship is in upright position, or in neutral position. So before you loading, after you loading, the master should check and be responsible for stowage of the cargo. It's recommended that loading condition be provided for 3 representative stowage factors. These are the 3 factors: 1.25, 1.50, and 1.75 cubic meters per tons. That's all.
Stowage of bulk grain. All necessary and reasonable trimming shall be performed to level all free grain surfaces and to minimize the effect of grain shifting. To avoid shifting of cargo, the grain surfaces must be reasonably trimmed. In any field compartment, the bulk grain shall be trimmed so as fill all the spaces under the decks and hatch covers to the maximum extent possible. When we say field compartment trim, it refers to any cargo space in which after loading and trimming as required, the bulk grain is at its highest possible level. In any field compartment untrimmed, the bulk grain shall be filled to the maximum extent possible in way of hatch opening, but maybe its natural angle of repose outside the periphery of the hatch openings. When we say field compartment untrimmed, It refers to a cargo space which is filled to the maximum extent possible in way of hatch opening, but which has not been trimmed outside the periphery of the hatch opening. If there's no bulk grain or other cargo above the lower cargo space containing grain, the hatch cover shall be secured in an approved manner having regard to the mass and permanent arrangements provided for securing such covers. When bulk grain is stowed on top of closed twin deck, hatch covers which are not grain tight. Such covers shall be made grain tight by taping the joints, covering the entire hatchway with tarpaulins or separation cloths or other suitable means. After loading, all 3 grain surface in partly filled compartments shall be labeled. So what is the partly filled compartment? Partly filled compartment, the term refers to any cargo space wherein the bulk grain is not loaded. Unless account is taken of the adverse healing effect due to the grain, the surface of the bulk grain in any partly filled compartment shall be secured so as to prevent a grain ship by overstowing. Alternatively, in partly filled compartments, the bulk grain surfaces may be secured by strapping or lashing. Lower cargo spaces and twin deck spaces in a way thereof may be loaded as one compartment provided that, in calculating transverse healing moments, proper account is taken of the flow grain into lower spaces.
Stowage of bulk grain. In filled compartment, trimmed, filled compartment, untrimmed, and partly filled compartment, longitudinal division may be installed as a device to reduce the adverse healing effect of grain ship provided. First, the division is grain tight. Second, meet the requirement stat in the code. And last is, in twin deck, the division extend from deck to deck. In other cargo spaces, the division extend downward from the underside of the deck or hatch cover.